Alright, here we are at lesson 4.4, unit 4, lesson 4, talking about absolute value equations. And your objective, not plural, but just objective, is to solve absolute value equations. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we should talk about is these kind of examples we've done before. Okay, this says the absolute value of what numbers are equal to 5. So what numbers are 5 spaces away from 0? We talked about that before. We know that x is positive 5 and negative 5 because they're both 5 spaces away from 0. Alright, and the bottom one, it says what numbers are negative 5 spaces away from 0. That was no solution. Okay? So absolute value is always positive, but the numbers you can use to plug in an absolute value, numbers that can go inside the symbols, are positive and negative. Okay? Because absolute value means how many spaces away from 0. So absolute value always has a number that's positive and a number that's negative that goes with it. Okay? So again, positive 5 and negative 5 both have an absolute value of 5. That's a key concept when solving absolute value equations, that you have to have a positive and a negative value to your equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this in more depth. Okay, over on the right here we got our 3 steps to solve these. The first one is to isolate the absolute value expression. Okay, so get the absolute value expression all by itself. So if we look here, that's already done for us. There's nothing on the same side as the absolute value expression. So we're done with that. Okay? Step 2 says to give the expression, okay, it should say give the absolute value expression a negative and a positive value. Okay? Remember, so this is like saying find out what numbers minus 2 have an absolute value of 5. Okay? So let's stop and think about this. What numbers have an absolute value of 5? Well, 5 and negative 5 do. So we've got to give this a positive and a negative value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take x minus 2 and set it equal to positive 5, and x minus 2 and set it equal to negative 5. Okay? Because if x minus 2 equals positive 5, if positive 5 would go in here, the absolute value of 5 is 5. If x minus 2, this in here equals negative 5, the absolute value of negative 5 is still positive 5. So we've got to set this equal to both of these, one positive and one negative. And then after that, you're just going to solve for each equation. So change the addition here, and then add 2. I get x is equal to 7. And then over here, plus 2. Okay. So x equals 7 and x equals negative 3. These are always AND equations. Okay, both of these things are true. Because if I plug in 7 for x, 7 minus 2 is 5, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. If I plug in negative 3 for x, negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5, and the absolute value of that is still positive 5. So both of these solutions work. Okay, so again, steps. Get this absolute value expression all by itself. Once you've done that, set the part inside the absolute value to the positive and negative version of whatever this is. Okay, whatever it's equal to. And then you solve for each equation. Alright, let's do one more example and call it good. Alright, so again, Mr. Ayers last time forgot the step. Remember, we always change subtraction to addition first. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as the absolute value of 2x plus negative 7 then plus negative 5 is equal to 4. Remember, first step is to get this absolute value expression all by itself. So to do that, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And these cancel, so now I have the absolute value of 2x plus negative 7 is equal to 9. Once the absolute value expression is isolated, I'm going to take what's inside of it, 2x plus negative 7, and set it equal to a positive version of this, so positive 9. And then I'm going to set it equal to the negative version of that, negative 9. And again, this should make sense because if this all in here is positive 9, the absolute value of positive 9 is 9. And if this is negative 9 in here, the absolute value of negative 9 is still positive 9. Okay, now we just have to solve both of these equations. So here I'm going to add 7 and get 2x is equal to 16, and then divide by 2 and get x equals 8, and whatever I get over here. So I'm going to add 7, 2x, and negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. Then I'm going to divide by 2. And I get x equals negative 1. So x equals 8 and negative 1 for this one. If I plug those in, 2 times 8, okay, let's plug it into the original actually. 2 times 8 is 16, minus 7, okay, 16 minus 7 is 9. Then the absolute value of 9 is still 9, and 9 minus 5 is 4. If I plug in negative 1 up here in the top, okay, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9, and 9 minus 5 is 4. So it checks out. Alright, you got any questions, ask. Otherwise, good luck on the homework.